You are Locked On Heat Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Heat fans? Welcome to another episode of your Locked On Heat Postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and a big one tonight for Miami at home against the Brooklyn Nets. Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Is Brooklyn in the house? Without a doubt. I'm the rapper with clout. 110.95. Nobody has clout on Brooklyn anymore. No more Kevin Durant. No more Kyrie Irving. No more James Harden. No more anyone. I mean, they'd take anyone at this point in time from their history. But the New Jersey / Brooklyn Nets go down tonight to the Miami Heat. 110.95 is the final. Jimmy Butler out again with the illness. Terry Rozier missed the game with the knee, and the Heat just continue to get contributions from players, off that bench, and that's the Heat way, right? 5 guys in double figures, a couple more players with 9 tonight. Bam Adebayo keeps moving up in the record books, led the team in scoring, had a nice night overall. Tyler Hero as well. A team effort tonight heading into the Christmas holiday. They will fly to Orlando on Christmas night and then play the Magic on Thursday. Magic, by the way, beat the Celtics in the ORL tonight. It's a Christmas edition. Oh, baby. Last show right here. It's Heat Postcast. That's right. New initiative, new name. Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, and I will tell you what, Heat fans, it was a nice night to be a Miami Heat player, and I kind of cruised to that victory second half, and of course the fourth quarter much better than the other night. 110-95, the final. We're going to break it down for you, give you the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the box score, the team stats, of course, the elements at the end, the final score graphic, the turning point, and the player of the game. So we mentioned Bam Adebayo moving up in the record books as well, so we got a lot to get to. So let's get to getting. What do you say on your Heat Postcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network? I have to get used to that. Heat Postcast, Heat Postcast, Heat Postcast. Not to be confused with the daily episodes of the shows. This is just Heat Postcast, and I don't know what they're doing, like moving the names around, trying to figure out what's going on and all those things. They're taking the words Locked On off of it, and I'm not sure what that is all about, but it's another form of branding, and here we are on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And tonight's episode of your Locked On Heat Postcast on your Monday, December 23rd, Christmas edition of the show here tonight is brought to you by FanDuel. Who else but FanDuel? You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, although there aren't any real seasons starting now. But new customers, you can start the new year with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with a $150 bonus bet if you win your first $5 bet. So you get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started, as we've gotten started here on the show as your Miami Heat winners. I pick winners. Sam Rothstein, I pick winners. You know what I'm saying? So 110-95, they shot 49% from the field tonight, almost 50%. You make 1 out of 2, you're going to be all right. We going to be all right. We going to be all right. 49.3%. And a lot of the younger guys, a lot of the depth, not even just younger guys, a lot of the bench players getting a bunch of run now and some meaningful minutes and contributions and key points in games and things like that. So, look, the Heat are going to be middle of the pack on down in the East. I don't see them being a top 4 team. We don't know what the deadline's going to bring. We've heard rumors of everyone from De'Aaron Fox, and good luck telling Sabonis that one, right? Hey, we got rid of De'Aaron Fox. How'd that work out for KG and Stephon Marbury? You don't break that young dude. They're the Queens. What am I going to say? Did I just say Queens? Love you, Shaq. Anyway, 41% from 3 for Miami, 41.5. Tyler Hero, 12 rebounds, 17 points, had a really good defensive game, a facilitator tonight, playing more of that point forward, point guard role. And the reason, Rozier's out, Jimmy Butler's out, Tyler's facilitating a lot more tonight for his teammates. He did a really good job of that. And Bam Adebayo did too. Bam was 8 for 12 shooting, 23 points. Nikola Jovic, 18 points off the bench. And, interesting, right? The ball movement was good. They had a nice 14-3 run in the fourth quarter. Outscored the Nets by 14 in the second half, won by 15. Hello, is it me you're looking for? Useful information all the way across the board here on your Heat Postcast. Jim Grieshaber, Call me Grease, at Jim Grease _ on social media. It was a team effort. Distribution, Tyler Hero facilitating, Bam facilitating, getting their teammates involved to the point where you had 5 guys in double figures tonight. And, Jaquez Jr. with 9 points and Ware with 9. I mean, Ware's been great, man. Off the bench, 7'1" with the athleticism he has. And, he was 1 for 2 on threes tonight, over 7 feet tall. And a good game for him overall. 4 of 6 from the floor. Kel'el Ware, the 7-footer, figuring more into the rotation. Jovic had 18 tonight. He played a good game. Burks had 12. And then, of course, Bam had 23, 17 for Hero and for the Dunkmeister, Duncan Robinson, 9 for Jaquez. We'll hit the box score momentarily. And it's a sad note to tell you tonight, and it is about Heat player Drew Smith. Injured during the game, a lower leg injury. He's averaging almost 7 points a game. 26 years old, undrafted out of Missouri, and he's played 2 years. He's had to take the hard route. Everything for him in his career has been by work. It has not been easy. It's been different leagues. It's been riding the bus. It's been all over the place, right? Finding a home in Miami, finding a place where he can produce, be a part of a rotation. And how about that with a guy like Smith? A really devastating lower leg injury suffered tonight after 7 minutes on the court and only took 1 shot. You're talking about a guy who had 13 and 14 in his last 2 games, and he had 11 on December 12th, had an off day, an off game against Detroit, had 7 points in that game. But, 11, 7, 13, 14, he's really picking it up, started playing a lot better, and bam, he gets hurt tonight. Not Bam Adebayo, he gets hurt tonight. Bam, as in bam, Drew Smith gets the lower leg injury tonight, and we'll keep you, updated on that, and you can check out Locked On Heat podcast day in and day out to keep in touch with that. But, obviously this is a little different. It's your Heat Postcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We're here to talk about what goes on in the games. So for the day-to-day stuff, injuries and whatnot, obviously you're going to want to, see Locked On Heat podcast for that. So it's a lower leg injury for him. And all right, there we go. We got it off of that. So, interesting for Miami. They outscore him by 14 in the second half and win by 15. And, it was just a good game overall. I mentioned the team effort without Jimmy Butler's second game in a row out with that knee. And they really played better in the fourth quarter tonight. That fourth quarter the other night was a complete abomination for Miami. And you heard me talk about this that night, during and after that game. But when you're talking about the way that it went the other night for Miami, just not a good game. Not a good game at all. And tonight, by the way, Bam in this game had 6 points at halftime and ended up with 20 plus. So not bad there. So here we go. 58-57, they had the lead at halftime, and 39-28 at the end of the first quarter. Not a good second quarter tonight for Miami. But the reason that I brought this up moments ago about the scoring in the fourth quarter, they scored 8 points in the fourth quarter the other night. It's the fewest by any team in a fourth quarter this season in the NBA. They were awful. Harrow was scoreless. Bam was scoreless. It was tied for the second fewest in a fourth quarter in Heat history. And you ask, how could it have been worse? They had 6 versus Orlando in the fourth on January 3rd of 2020. 6 points in the fourth quarter. This was another fourth quarter. And then tied for fourth fewest points in any quarter in Miami Heat history. That's how bad that fourth quarter was the other night. And tonight they outscored them 27-17. 5 garbage points late for the Nets. It was 27-12 with a minute left. They had outscored them in the fourth. So a great job by Miami there. Look, it was team basketball. I wanted to see Jaquez score another one and Ware score another one. So they had 7 guys in double figures. A lot of assists tonight for Miami. They're always good in the open floor. They always cause deflections, turnovers. They get their hands into passing lanes. They bat a lot of things down. But, all those things are norms for Miami. But the bench players really stepping up. Burks was great tonight. Jaquez had 5 rebounds to go with the 9 points. So the bench players not only came in and they didn't miss a beat, they elevated, in many cases, the play of the Heat tonight with no Butler, no Rozier, no Kevin Love, right? And Bam had a bad first half. Tyler Hero did not have a good first half, 1 of 5 shooting. So in the first half, and I actually made it a note to do this and took a picture, a screenshot of the box score at halftime. Because when you're talking, and the Nets, their guys are a couple guys that were leading them scoring in the first half. Cam Johnson had 15, didn't do much at all in the second half. So Bam Adebayo finishes in this game. He had 6 points at halftime, right? So he has 6. Tyler has 8. Tyler ends up with 17. Bam ends up with 20 plus. But leading the way, Duncan Robinson scored 14 in the first half. 14 points in the first half for the Dunkmeister and 12 for Nikola Jovic. Those two guys led the way, right? Robinson, of course, you know his story out of Michigan, just year after year getting better and better and better. Jovic, this is his best game since the opener. He scored 15 in the opener. This is his highest scoring game now of the season with the 18, 12 in the first half. So with no Jimmy, with no Love, with no Rozier, and with Tyler and Bam not scoring in the first half, you get Duncan Robinson and you get Jovic, and you actually have the lead by a point at halftime, even though you played like garbage in the second quarter. So what's my point there? My point is the team system, the team basketball, the way that they play, and the confidence that they instill in their bench and periphery players, second to none in the NBA. You're watching Locked On Heat Postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. So what a night. The Heat win 110-95, Christmas edition Heat Postcast right here. You everydayers know it's been a bit of a struggle this year for Miami. They go a game above 500. They end the 3-game losing streak. We're going to hit the box score. We'll give you the team stats, look a little deeper, unwrap. You get what I did there? See, it's the spirit of the holiday. We're going to unwrap this game a little bit. We're going to talk about the next 3 games on the road. Oh, the Heat days of Christmas past, when we used to have those big Christmas Day games with Shaq and Wade and LeBron and Bosh and, oh my God, all those years of Christmas Day games. Even the Zoe and Tim Hardaway teams made a couple of them. Not this year for Miami. You're watching your Locked On Heat Postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. It is Heat Postcast. I'll get it right. I'm getting used to the new name on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. Let's keep it going. And yeah, baby, I get a chance to tell you about some of the best companies in the world, and absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the best deals that you're going to find from some of these companies. They're just unreal. So being a viewer, being a listener, being a part of what we do here on the Locked On Podcast Network has many, many benefits. These are just one of them. With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. With Mint Mobile, when Mint Mobile says $15 a monthly purchase 3-month plan, they mean it. And we've all had bad experiences with mobile providers over the years. Bills that you can't even read and you just speak 14 languages, upcharges, fees. What's that one for? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. How great is it that Mint Mobile is straight up and you don't ever have to worry about that stuff with Mint? You say bye-bye to overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile's here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text. That's right, with Mint Mobile. You never have to worry about any of that stuff. It's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You use your own phone with any plan. Ditch overpriced wireless. With Mint Mobile's deal, get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Are you ready? This is my favorite part. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower, above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. That wasn't bad, Jimmy Jam. All right, I got that one. We be illin' on that. That was good. I like that. I always wanted to be that announcer voice. I had some bucket list things that you would think being like, working here, working at ESPN, reaching the top levels of the business, that I'd be happy. But nope, I had to be one of those dudes who has a bucket list. And I did one. You go into Walmart. I did an event at a Walmart. I got to go in and attention, Walmart shoppers, attention. I got to do that. And then the fast read guy at the end of the commercials. You go, terms apply. Here's disclaimer. And I love that. So it's awesome. Anyway, 110-95, the Heat win. Christmas edition Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're the only place you want to be right after the game. Nowhere else, right? We have Locked On for the day in and day out. Locked On Heat, Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Canes. You want to be day in and day out on those. After the games, you want to be here with me. Heat Postcast, Canes Postcast, Dolphins Postcast. Dolphins play again this week in a big game against Cleveland. They win their last 2. Get some help from teams that need to beat Indianapolis, Jacksonville, and then 2 teams that need to beat Denver. and they are in. And yeah, they back in, but just making the playoffs will be a huge win right now for your Miami Dolphins. We'll have that on Sunday. Of course, it's Christmas, and that's going to be awesome. The Heat play again on Thursday. So quick breakdown of the schedule for you. Thursday night, Heat at Orlando. We will have that for you right here, right? So the postcast will be on right after, and I think Jaquez Jr. said Merry Christmas to the fans or something. What is this all about? What do we got here? Yeah, happy holidays. Jaime Jaquez Jr. said happy holidays to the Heat fans, and I don't know why I had to. All right, so Rozier out, Butler out, Josh Richardson out. Okay, here's the schedule for Miami. Next 3 games are on the road. How to get that win. They've won 6 out of 7 at home. And by the way, they're 7-0 when they hold opponents under 100 points. And, that's been rare. But 7-0 under 100 points. They've won 6 of their last 7 at home. So you're at Orlando on Thursday, at Atlanta on Saturday, and then Sunday at Houston. So 3 in a row. Then Wednesday, the 1st, New Year's Day, New Orleans. So, again, Thursday at Orlando. That's a 7 p.m. tip. We'll be here right after with the show. Saturday at Atlanta. 3 o'clock tip will be right here with the show after the game. And by the way, we also have the Canes postcast that day in the IDGAF Bowl against Iowa State. 2 incredibly disappointed programs who are probably going to mail it in the bowl game. And you hope not. The portal's been so far, but what a disappointing finish to what was an incredible year for a long time. So then Sunday at Houston, 7 p.m. tip for the Heat. And that, of course, is the Dolphins game on Sunday is at what time? Let me get that for you here real quick, too. So Heat Thursday, Heat Saturday, Heat Sunday, nothing Friday, Canes Saturday, Dolphins on Sunday. Are you reading me? We got all that right here. And then I just want to hit for this right here, week 17. Are we in week? Yeah, we're in week 17. All right, so we got Chiefs Steelers, Ravens Texans on Christmas. Thursday, they have a game. I mean, the NFL just wants to take every day. It's getting ridiculous. I don't even know when there's games half the time anymore, and I don't watch them, and that's what they've done to a lot of fans. But here we go. Dolphins, Browns, that'll be, that's a 4:05 kick on Sunday. So we'll have that one, and then right after that, we'll have the Heat postcast, so the Locked On Heat postcast. So it'll be the Heat postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. How about that? Heat postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. All right, let's take a quick peek at the box score, the score of the box, because we have a couple of things to get to still with your player of the game, your turning point, and your final score graphics. So let's hit it. Busy night in the association for reals. I'm going to start doing the scores on the show. All right, I did it during the baseball season. I'll do it here too. All right, box score. Here, let's see if we missed anything real quick. 23 points for Bam. They snapped the 3-game skid, 17 to the 23 in the second half. 18 for Jovic, 17 points, 12 rebounds for Hero. 7-0 holding opponents under 100 points. Duncan Robinson, 17, 5 for 10 from 3. Cam Johnson, Noah Clowney, 19 each for the Nets. And 17-6 run for Brooklyn at the end of the first half. Got them close. It was a 1-point game at halftime. Miami ran away with it in the second half. Stomach illness for Jimmy Butler. Drew Smith, lower leg injury, suffered during the game. Not looking good for Drew. Brooklyn's 2-8 since a 3-game win streak in November. 6 of the losses been by double figures, 2 of them by more than 25. 3-game skid over for Miami. Second time this year they've avoided a 4-game slide, thankfully, right? And let's see, 8 points, squandered a 22-point lead in the fourth quarter of Saturday's loss at Orlando. They lost by 7. The Heat began the fourth period tonight with 5 unanswered points. They outscored Brooklyn 27-17 in the fourth. 21 of 24 from the line. Bam, 7 of 8. Hero, 5 for 6. And, of course, the Heat are at Orlando on Thursday. Let's take a look at the box score. How about the Nets? Clowney and Johnson, 19 each. The other Johnson, so that's Cam Johnson, and then the other Johnson is Keon Johnson. So Cam had 19 and Keon had 15. Martin had 14 off the bench. How about the Heat? Robinson, 17. Hero, 17. Adebayo, 23 to go along with 7 rebounds and 7 assists. By the way, Tyler Hero, 17, had 12 rebounds and 9 assists. Just missed another triple-double. Really looking good as a facilitator tonight. Jaquez in the starting lineup had 9. Let's see. Jovic, 18. Ware, 9. Burks, 12. Larson with 2. Smith, Christopher, and K. Johnson did not score. Love, Butler, Rozier did not play. Miami, 49% from the floor, 36 of 73, 41.5% from three, 17 for 41. Up against the break here real quick. They always tell the story, don't they? The stats of the game. So the stats of the game telling the story here. You got a 17 of 41 from three, 21 of 24 from the line. They outshot them in every facet of the game. They out-rebounded them 44 to 42, 27 assists to 23. Total turnovers, 16 for Miami, 15 for Brooklyn. Where Brooklyn at? Fast break points, 19-12 for the Nets. Points in paint, 40 to 32. Brooklyn, not a huge advantage for them there. Usually it's that and the offensive rebounds that kill Miami. Not tonight. And then, of course, the largest lead of the game was 20 for your Miami Heat. They had 3 fewer steals. That doesn't happen all the time. They were favored by 9.5, won by 15. The over-under was 210.5. It did not come through as it hit at 205. The attendance was 19,832. And real quick, you know what? Why not just give you the scoreboard real quick for you? One time for your mind. All right, we'll hit it right now. We'll hit it on the other side. We're late for a break, and we will give you the scores. We'll give you the player of the game, the turning point, the final score graphic. Get you ready for the next 3 on the road. And ho, 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 what do you want for Christmas? This is Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. You everydayers know this. It's your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, 15-point win over the Nets. Snaps a 3-game skid, 6 of 7 of their last 7 at home have been won, 7-0 when they hold teams under 100 points. It's your Locked On Heat Postcast, just Heat Postcast. I'm getting there on the Locked On Podcast Network. Stick around. We're almost done. Get ready to tackle the NFL action this week, and they are on almost every day with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now, hey, it's your tomorrow. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page right there where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And I want to remind you that your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. That is right. Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Locked On Heat has a newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. Let me explain this one more time. Locked On Heat, day by day. After the games, Heat Postcast. Locked On Dolphins, day by day. After the games, on game days, Dolphins Postcast. Locked On Canes, day in and day out. After the games, Canes Postcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. No need to hit the dailies on the game days. No need to hit the postcasts on days when there are no games. You see how we do it here on the Locked On Podcast Network. So now that we have that out of the way, let's wrap this puppy up on your Monday. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media. Gave you the box. How about Tyler Hero, 17, 12, and 9, missed a triple-double by 1 assist. Bam Adebayo, 17 points in the second half, 23 overall. 7 and 7 rebounds and assists. Not the cocktail. I know they don't play again until Thursday. Who drinks 7 and 7s anymore anyway? Does anyone even drink 7-Up? Is there still such a thing as 7-Up? Somebody help me in the chat. And by the way, smash that subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we're coming with more content. And keep on coming in the chat room. Hit us up with some of your comments. I got a nice one from Jorge in there tonight talking about Tyler Hero's overall game, how he's developed off the ball, how he sets screens for people now, how he's great at facilitating, finding teammates for open threes, open jumpers, drives to the bucket. Real nice with Tyler. He's become a bit of a contortionist, too, in the air. And I love using the word contortionist as Tyler has gotten that hang time up. I really like the way Tyler's playing this year. Fantastic job by Tyler Hero. As we wrap it up on your Monday, again, the next 3 games are on the road. You go to Orlando on Thursday. You go to Atlanta on Saturday, or Atlanta's, and then Houston on Sunday. That's right. So Atlanta, Saturday, Houston, Sunday. You go Orlando, Atlanta, Houston, and then, of course, you got in between the Canes and Iowa State on Saturday and the Dolphins and the Browns on Sunday. Going to be busy on the postcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Again, day by day, go to the podcast. Game days, postcasts. And here we are with your Heat postcast. And it's going to be an awesome, awesome day on Sunday for the Dolphins in Cleveland. I can feel it. It's going to come down to the last week of the year where the Broncos are going to need to lose. The Dolphins are going to need to win. Dolphins are going to be playing the Jets, the SS Titanic. Aaron Rodgers laughing on the Pat McAfee show about the fact that he could be cut in the offseason by a teenager because Woody Johnson, the owner's sons, are the ones running personnel. I mean, so funny, right? The way things are with a terrible organization. But you, as a Heat fan, you have no idea what that's even like because even guys like Pelle Larsson, even guys like Khalil Ware, even guys like Alec Burks, Drew Smith, who got hurt tonight, they find their way in this rotation. Like Eric Spoelstra says, make me see you, make me play you, make me leave you in. And that's been his philosophy. He's done a great job with that. When you have a coach who was an intern in the video room and worked his way up to being one of the greatest coaches in the league, and I would say the second best coach in Miami Heat franchise history, would you not? Number 2 behind Pat Riley. Would you say that Stan Van Gundy was better? No, because short body of work, right? And Stan was good, no doubt about it. And obviously, Ron Rothstein's still around, right? The first coach of the Miami Heat. But Riley 1, Spoelstra 2, started in the video room. I used to go pick up the highlights from him every week when I was an intern on Sunday Night Sports Wrap. Big difference in our career path since then. I probably should have been the video intern for the Miami Heat now that I think about it. But I've had a great career talking to you and looking at you and having fun here on the shows and on the mic. And Spo's doing great as a coach. And the Miami Heat, with that culture, they just keep bringing in players, whether it's young guys, whether it's players from other organizations. Bring us your misfits, your poor, your tired, whatever. They embody the spirit of what that's all about. You come in with a work ethic. You come in and you knock some people around with the toughness and the chip on your shoulder and a brain on your head. You got to be smart to fit into that Heat culture. Really smart. And so what they've done is they've created that environment where it just seems to produce winning. And I don't just mean on the scoreboard. I don't just mean in the win column, wins and losses. I mean overall in life, the culture, what it feels like in the building, what it feels like when you're around the team, and not just the arena, the building where they do business, right? That part of the arena where you're in there. So big one tonight for Miami. The spirit's always there. The teamwork's always there. The team defense is always there. What's not always there is the shooting. Right? And what's not always there is the size. And that's why I love when Khalil Ware comes in and goes 4 of 6 and goes 1 of 2 from 3. The guy's 7 feet plus, right? Athletic, him in the front court with Bam. That's a nice dynamic moving forward to the future. So if this guy can become a starter, a 25, 30-minute a night guy playing with Bam, that gives you some nice options that you had and you haven't had in a long time for the Miami Heat. You haven't had that kind of size and those kind of options for a long time. Imagine a high-low pick and roll, things like that. Bam with the facilitating, his jumper's getting better and better. Tyler's become more of that point mentality, especially when Jimmy's out. Look, they miss Jimmy a lot when he's out. But these rotations that they're playing with here, and you have to read between the lines with what Spo's doing and the organization's doing because they're playing certain combinations together, looking at who they should trade, maybe not trade, because a couple of these guys would be gone as part of the deal. So look at all the tinkering. Read between the lines with what's going on here with your Miami Heat. They're playing much better, and they have a lot more to look forward to in the weeks ahead. And look, that Detroit game was an awful loss in overtime. That was when they scored 8 points at Orlando in the fourth quarter of the next game. So the Detroit game, they've lost 2 in overtime at Detroit this year. The second one last week was terrible. Jimmy had a huge triple-double. They blow the game. Then they score 8 points at Orlando and lose that game by 7, 8 points in the fourth quarter. Should have won both those games. Couple bad home losses earlier this year. This team is not a team that should be 14-13. This team is not just barely a 500 team. They're not a play-in tournament type of team with Jimmy Butler healthy. The way Bam and Tyler have improved their all-around games, this is a middle-of-the-pack team in the East. Not going to be better than the Celtics. Probably not going to be better than the Knicks. Cleveland's looking really good. But other than that, and you could really be better than the Knicks. I want to see what they do at the deadline. No matter what they do at the deadline, when you're giving up a guy like Jimmy Butler, if that's who they trade, you got to get a lot back. I've heard De'Aaron Fox. Look, Locked On Heat, those guys will have a lot on that every day for you. We're here Heat postcast after the game to react to the game specifically themselves. But the way that they're playing these rotations, getting different guys on the floor together, seeing how each one plays with this other group. And, Jaquez got the start tonight. Highsmith seems to have fallen out of favor a little bit lately. Now Drew Smith gets hurt. But all those guys are kind of jockeying for position, and I love what Kel'el Ware's doing. So we shall see. Will Kevin Love be a throw-in on a trade? He seems to be this year's Udonis Haslem. You don't want to lose that coach on the bench type of dude, And so there's so many things that go into this. Again, don't believe everything you see here, Reed, and you'll be okay. And like Jay-Z said, even if it's spat by me. You know what I'm saying? And like Charles Barkley said, maybe not the best time to mention Jay-Z. Either way, we're almost out of time. Let's hit the elements that you love so much here on the show. And first things first, Grease freaks all right, first things first. I'm just playing around. It's Christmas time. We're going to have a great week. Look, it's the last episode before the holiday, right? You got a Christmas Eve tomorrow. Ho, ho, ho. Got to tell the kids, look for Santa up in the sky. If you don't celebrate Christmas, hey, just enjoy the nice day. Relax, spread some cheer anyway. Get yourself set and ready for New Year's. We'll have a game on Thursday with the Heat, game on Saturday with the Heat, game on Sunday with the Heat, Canes Saturday, Dolphins Sunday. Busy weekend of postcasts here on Locked On Sports Miami and YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts. All right, let's do this. Here we go. 110.95. They beat the Brooklyn Nets. Hello, Brooklyn. How you doing? Where you going? Can I come to? Lil Wayne and Jay-Z on the American Gangster album. But that's Drew Smith on the ground, and those are looks of concern on the faces of his teammates. You see Duncan there. You see K-Love there. You see Bam walking up. And, it's unfortunate. He injured his lower leg on a drive, and it looks bad. It looks real serious. You could see that something popped or snapped in there. And so 110.95 the final. They go to 14-13. They're a game above 500. They end a 3-game losing streak, their second 3-game losing streak of the season. That did not become a 4-gamer. They've won 6 of their last 7 at home, but they play the next 3 on the road, and they are now 7-0 when holding opponents under 100 points. But again, the Nets have been terrible. They've lost 5 games in a row, I want to say, and they've lost 2 of those by 25 points. So there's that. Now, on to the moment. These are the moments. Boom. Outscored the Nets 27-17 in the fourth quarter. It was 27-12 until 5 garbage points in the last 30 seconds, but a much different outcome than the other night when they were just outscored 37. Not only did they only score 8 and set or tie a whole bunch of records there. You could look that up. I already mentioned it, or just rewind. Rewind. But, 27-17 in the fourth quarter tonight. Bam had 17 of his 23 points in the second half. Much, much different from Miami. The second quarter was the quarter tonight where they didn't play their best. Opened up a lead in the first, played well in the third, but really, really well in the fourth to put this bad boy away. And there you have it. That's Alec Burks, by the way, attacking the rim. And those younger guys and those reserves off the bench getting it done that way too, which brings me to the star of our show. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. Adebayo. Yeah, I know. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists for Bam, but he had 6 points in the first half, right? It just was one of those games. 5 guys in double figures. Hero and Robinson was 17 apiece. Duncan only had 3 in the second half. Bam only had 6 in the first half. Tyler only had 17 overall, but he had 12 rebounds and 9 assists, 1 shy of a triple-double. Had he gotten the triple-double, probably given it to him, but Bam was very instrumental scoring-wise, hit some big jumpers. Great with his passing. He's got some point guard. John Crotty said it on the telecast. He's got some point guard-like skills passing the ball. Delivers the ball, I believe Crotty said word for word, delivers the ball like a point guard to his teammates in positions where they can score. And Bam at 6'9", playing center all the time. If Kel'el Ware can be that 20 to 25 minute a game guy toward the end of the year, and I believe from what I've seen from him, he can. Then Bam Adebayo at a power forward, Bam Adebayo moving around, Bam Adebayo on the wings more, passing that ball, taking those mid-range jumpers with the occasional threes, got to hit more of them to stretch the defense. Imagine you put Bam on those power forwards and the matchup advantages you would get there, and you rotate those 2 guys. So I love what they're doing there, and trust me, by the end of the year, you're going to see a lot with Jovic a lot with Nikola Jovic. This is going to be a very different team. I don't know who's going to get traded with Jimmy, if Jimmy gets traded or anybody gets traded for that matter, but I do know this. This team, if they keep Jimmy Butler, somewhere in that 3 to 6 to the play-in range, right? Depending on what deal they make, might still be in that same spot. So the deal might have to be more about the future with Jimmy's contract, looking at some other options, getting younger, you know what I mean? Finding an elite point guard to bring in and play with Bam and Tyler rather than having a guy like Jimmy. It's a dangerous game. You could blow up the whole thing in today's landscape in sports with one deal, and you always could, but it's even easier now. And players on these limited contracts with all these opt-outs, and, you know, I mean, it's just like, hey, you know, don't unpack your suitcase in many cases. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with Jimmy the rest of the way. I'd love to see them work things out with him. I'd love to see Terry Rozier step it up and be their point guard, man. I don't understand. You get a 24-point-per-game guy from Charlotte. Let's go, Terry. Let's go, man. We need more from Terry Rozier. Tyler Hero's been great. He's an all-star. Bam's a borderline all-star. I think he's an all-star. But, you know, a lot of great players in the league. I mean, everybody's going to be an all-star now with the new format. So there you have it. Bam Adebayo. Look at him with the handles out there. And a great guy, too, as Eric Reed mentioned on the telecast. So 110-95, the final. You got your next three on the road: at Orlando Thursday, at Houston Saturday, at Atlanta Saturday, at Houston Sunday. So Orlando Thursday, Atlanta Saturday, Houston Sunday, Canes Iowa State Saturday, Dolphins Browns Sunday. Playoff ramifications all over that one. The Canes, of course, it's a bowl game. I got to ask if we're going to do Canes basketball after the first of the year, because that's when the college basketball season really starts anyway. But until then, we have plenty of things to keep you busy with the postcast. This is your Heat postcast. We're rebranding again. Heat postcast. We got the Dolphins postcast and the Canes postcast coming your way this weekend as well. 3 more games this week for Miami, all on the road. Again, Orlando Thursday, Saturday at Atlanta, and Sunday at Houston. One of the biggest turnarounds and surprise stories of the year in the NBA, the Houston Rockets. That's all there is, Heat fans. There is no more of this pre-Christmas, last one before the holiday episode, Heat Postcast. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease on the Locked On Podcast Network. You everydayers know this. I'm going to give you my energy. I'm going to give you my drive, my passion, and my love every single day, and I hope that you really appreciate that as I and we appreciate you. You are the biggest gift we have in our lives, all of us who work here, the Locked On Podcast Network, the postcasters, the podcasters, all of us. On behalf of all of us, Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. Happy holidays to all of you, no matter what you're celebrating. Even if you're not celebrating anything, celebrate you on our behalf. Would you do that for us? I think you can handle that, right? I know you can, all right? So with that being said, until Thursday, right, in Orlando when the Heat play there, I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, saying keep your game tight and your mind right, Heat fans. 110-95, a 15-point win that breaks a 3-game losing streak. 6 out of their last 7 at home, 7-0, holding teams under 100. Next 3 on the road, 2 football games this weekend, as well as we continue to bring you everything you need as a sports fan. Don't forget the newsletters, too, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas